I am Mandy Capica. I'd like to begin with a sound check. Can you please raise your hands if you can hear me? Great, I see plenty of hands going up. That's great. You may lower your hands. For those of you for whom that reference was obscure, it relates to a small ritual of internet greeting to which we in the GCSRT program have become accustomed over the last year. It is part of a technological miracle by which our program drew the world of medicine together. Dr. Alkabi, Dr. Singh, Dean Roberts, esteemed faculty members, my fellow clinical research scholars, and dear friends and families. The fact that we are all finally meeting live at Harvard makes this occasion auspicious indeed. Friends, we made it. And on the subject of miracles, I cannot proceed without thanking some very special people in GCSRT administration who made many miracles happen for us this year. The real Mandy. Morgan, Rachel, Yasmin, Gareth, Cheryl, Daphne, Robin, and Fane. Our sincerest thanks for all your incredible efforts in bringing us together and making this such a successful experience. I also wish to express my deepest gratitude to our faculty. They managed to convey a treasure of knowledge with amazing lucidity, generosity, and talent. I am overwhelmed when I think of their effort and dedication on our behalf. And of course, thanks most of all to Ajay, who assembled and led a remarkable program. It has been extraordinarily useful for us, who hope to serve our patients with the best that science and reason can achieve. Ajay, I hope we haven't given you too much of a headache this past year. The only creature I can possibly conceive that is more obstinate than a physician is a mid-career physician. Yet you've led close to 200 of us valiantly. It is impossible to tell the history of medicine without speaking of the whole world, of the ancient healing traditions of Egypt, of Ayurveda, of China and Africa, without mentioning Galen, Hippocrates, Ibn Sina, known to some of us as Avicenna, Vesalius, Maimonides, and Harvey. The tradition of desiring to heal belongs to the whole world. In the spirit of that hope, over this past year, nearly 200 extraordinary healers from 67 countries throughout the world met in our program under the umbrella of science for the good of humankind. How fitting that we do so near the Massachusetts General Hospital, an early dispensary of medicine to the poor in this country, along with those in Philadelphia and New York. I suspect that future historians of medicine may look back on our time as one when global health was knitted together in new ways by programs like this one. This has been a mind-expanding year of intellectual challenge. I did not know that I could fall in love with the logarithm of an odds ratio, but I have. Thank you, Professor Healy. We now understand how to use it as a tool for health and healing. We also learned the value of working across national borders. In one of our projects, my own very dear team was inspired to design a study on Ebola in response to the recent epidemic. In discussing how to measure the illness's spread, one group member from a threatened area explained to the rest of us the realities of the illness on the ground and how they would affect our measurements. I understood instantly the value of working in a global team. I don't know how I'm going to go back to the provincial backwater of Manhattan after this extraordinarily cosmopolitan year. There have been inspiring moments of ethical virtue as well. Once, early in the program, one of our teammates was having difficulty establishing a reliable Skype connection to participate in our weekly team discussions. We were racing against the clock to finish our first assignment, and of course we all wanted to shine as individuals. But we realized that we had to hang together as a team and leave no member behind, even if that meant slowing up, so that each one of us could learn how to be most useful to our patients. We discovered how to help one another while learning ourselves. As a result, I believe we all learned more in the end. Teammates, I have cherished the opportunity to work with you, and I will miss you all greatly. At times, following the news over this past year, it has seemed as though the world had gone mad with strife. But GCSRT program manifests humanity's ability to unite for the common good. It has made us all more a part of the family of medicine. And speaking of families, I would be egregiously remiss were I to fail to thank those who perhaps deserve the greatest thanks today, our families and dear friends, without whose support we could never have reached this wonderful day. I remember one marathon status session in front of the computer when I'd been sitting there for, I don't know, about 8 hours. Suddenly, silently, I noticed a sandwich sliding in front of my nose on a plate. My spouse was saving me from starvation. I gobbled it gratefully while still typing with one hand. Thank you, honey, and happy birthday. And thank you to all of the family and friends here. With your encouragement, faith, sagacity, forbearance, and some very tasty sandwiches, you've brought us safely to this day. Credit for reaching it is surely at least half yours, and I know I speak for the whole student body in saying thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Now it is time for us to put what we've learned to use in the service of others' health and healing. I have no doubt that this extraordinary group will contribute mightily toward that noble end. Thank you, colleagues, and congratulations.
Thank you, Stewart. I just want to invite my colleague, Dean David Roberts, to